Hey, everybody, it's Christopher Schubert, VP of Channel Sales over here at AppSmart with the latest edition in our National Solution Selling video series. Today, I am joined by one of my longest friends in the channel now since I've been working with providers, and one of my newest friends in the channel with Kathy Mazza of 8x8 and Matt Thompson of Aryaka. Welcome, both of you, to the Solution Sales video series. So, Kathy, I want to start with you today. I think folks might have heard the name 8x8, but in the crazy and ultra competitive world of XCaaS, what is the solution that you want our advisors to always think of 8x8 for?
Well, Chris, I can always leave it for you for mentioning XCaaS. So we definitely coined that term. So I would say that, all of our partners out there, they think of 8x8 as a UC provider. And what we really want to change is we want to change that whole mindset, and it is XCaaS. So experience communication as a service. And so we provide we're unique. We provide the only UC and CC with CPaaS, and it's a completely integrated single technology stack. So, I really can't stress that enough. And we're able to solve your customers and prospects problems with that single combined solution. And one thing I really want to stress, because we're not, you may have heard of us, but we are the only provider in this space that can say they are a 10-time Gartner Magic Quadrant leader in UC. And we are the only provider that sits on that UC Magic Quadrant that can also say that they are in the contact center, and we've been there 7 years in a row. So I think that shows a testament to the time we've been here. And if anybody leaves with anything, is XCaaS, experience communication as a service.
I love it. We've even built a practice around XCaaS because I'm such in love with that term. Well, moving from one new acronym to another guy that's had to deal with crazy acronyms, Aryaka, Matt, has been, SD-WAN, global SD-WAN, but now we got that newer, well, not so new anymore. It's been about a year or so since we started seeing this, but the SASE world. So from Aryaka, what is the one thing in that ultra competitive market that you want advisors to remember about you and your solution set?
Chris, it's a really good question, and to kind of lead off what Kathy just said, SASE has been the big buzzword in the industry, right? In the space that we are in today. And it's funny, you talk to 3 different customers about SASE, you get 3 different answers as to what it actually is and how it applies to them, right? And so what I would say today is we've typically fallen into that SD-WAN bucket, right? But we really want to be recognized as a total solution provider. And so I've had some of our executives lately refer to us almost as a network as a service provider, right? We do the SD-WAN portion of this and provide you connectivity globally. We have connectivity to all the IaaS or public cloud providers out there inherently built into our network. So you can consume this as a service. We can connect you to the SaaS providers the same way and consume that as a service. And now we have this amazing security or SASE space that we both have an internal offering now that we are rolling out. And then we still have partnerships with the Gartner Magic Quadrant leaders of the Checkpoints of the world, the Zscalers of the world, to actually go out and resell those opportunities as well, if that's a better fit for our particular customers. So really, we can bundle this all together, provide you with global connectivity from a last mile perspective, and really become a total network solution provider at the end of the day.
All right, so let's get into the fun stuff on solution selling, because I love both of those, and this should key in great for both of you here. So Matt, sticking with you for a moment, again, you went immediately into, well, people thought of us as just SD-WAN, and we're so much more than that. What sales strategies are you seeing out there among provider or advisors that are selling Aryaka that might come in with an SD-WAN strategy and they turn it into that network as a service strategy, network as a service sale? What do you see out there? What are they doing?
So it's a really good question. I would say what I've seen the most recently, is we've changed our go-to-market strategy over the last year to become a channel-led organization, right? So we have great resources available for our technology solution providers to go out and engage with their customers on opportunities, really dive in, discover what this customer is really trying to achieve, kind of where they're at today and how we can move them forward. So I would say the most success we've had, or what I've seen technology advisors do, is really engage the resources we have internally, really embrace that pod environment, use those resources from an engineering perspective, a marketing perspective, get executive support engaged in that and really go after the customer, understand their needs and discover what they're trying to do. And it branches off into kind of that total solution sale versus, hey, we're looking for SD-WAN box connectivity, from a global perspective or regional perspective.
Interesting stuff. I'm going to come back to that in just a minute, but just to kind of summarize, Matt, in your world, they bring you the SD-WAN opportunity and engage the Aryaka team to turn it into something bigger.
Correct.
Kathy, very similar to you, obviously they come to you. I've got my 12 seats of UCaaS. What do I do? How do you turn that into an XCaaS opportunity?
Now, I mean, to build on what Matt said, it's absolutely about the discovery that those, technology advisors are offering to their customers and prospects. So it's asking, and don't leave money on the table. I see, and look, I came from a network provider. I was scared about a contact center or even a security conversation because those can go down a rabbit hole really quickly. But you don't have to ask those questions, and you have to leverage the resources that a company like 8x8 and Aryaka provide to our partner community. But just ask, don't ask the discovery, start the conversation. Don't go in from an 8x8 perspective. Do you have a contact center? That's not the question to ask. It's to start thinking about, because everybody thinks of, just like me, they think of, I'm about to get on a flight, the Delta call center that's thousands of people sitting in this cavernous room. There is a need for every business. I would say, you said 10, 12 UC seats. Every single customer out there has a need for some sort of contact center. Could be a contact center light. It's their help desk. Who's calling in on that IVR thread to answer a billing question? All of those things really help our trusted, the advisors, those technology advisors, get a stickier deal that is a larger MER deal because you're adding a couple of those contact center seats. So again, from a 10 seat to 10,000 seats, don't be afraid to ask those discovery questions and leverage and really rely on the experts. We want to be an expert in that space. So, here, and we're in this really interesting time right now, from an economic standpoint, and we're hearing a lot from customers that just say they want to pause, they want to hold. And 8x8 is really going after, and we're being really aggressive with our partners and saying, look, there is a huge, there is a cost associated with not doing anything right now. And so we'll help our, the advisors understand that TCO to show customers the real cost of not making a decision. So, I think I said like 5 different things, but really building on what Matt said, and it's the discovery and not being afraid to add on to the conversation.
So going along with that, in both cases, you guys are relying on, come to us, come to 8x8, come to Aryaka and trust us to help you with those discovery questions and turn it into a bigger, better deal. But with so many advisors, there's still sometimes a hesitancy to bring the provider in. Kathy, in your world, you're like many UCaaS providers, you're marrying up a partner together with a channel manager, but also an account executive that specializes in your product. What does 8x8 do to help develop that trust factor with an advisor so they feel comfortable bringing your team in to grow that bigger, better deal?
No, you're absolutely 100%. I mean, channel is about relationships and building trust, and that trust and loyalty comes. And so, we've purpose built, as Matt said, what they're doing. We've purpose built a team because of those relationships in the field. And you can hear it from our CEO, Dave Sipes, all the way down. Over 80% of our field business last quarter came from channel. So our team is intimately knowledgeable about working with a partner and making sure that we get the partner's buy-in. Okay, what does the sales motion look like? Do you want us to run with it? Do you want to be on every single call? Do you want to run at point? And so it's about making sure that we work together every single time. And we know we have to be easy to do business with. And that's not only from a customer perspective, but that is 100% from the partner side of the house as well. So we have to be easy to do business with, and we have to make our partners look amazing in front of their customers and prospects. And so that is a top-down message.
I love that you say that, the channel is about the relationship. I was pretty sure it was just points, portals, and spit pass through, but
Oh,
thank you for reminding me that it's what it's actually about. So Matt, same back to you. Again, you've got a very large team, a deal registration style process as well. Sometimes makes people a little skittish. How does Aryaka develop that trust factor with their advisors?
Can I just roll with ditto, and just give her answer here? I think she nailed it really. And she did a really good job. The partner community, and from my experience, is all about the relationship, right? And it is all about that trust factor, and we are more of a strategic sale. We have a longer sales cycle. This is not, hey, we're going to jump in there, quote this out, and turn these things around in, a matter of 2 weeks to get a quick win. And so I think we continue to add people who have those relationships in the partner space, trying to align them regionally with, the subs and the TSBs out there today to continue to build those relationships. I think one thing we've really started to focus on is having a pre-call with those partners when they do a deal reg. They bring us that deal reg. We jump on that call. Hey, this is what we're going to talk about. This is the path we're going to go down. This is what we're going to present. Is there anything specific you want us to touch base on? Are we missing anything here? And then turning around and requalifying that with the customer again, and really spend a lot of time up front qualifying that opportunity, understanding what that customer is looking for, and then presenting on those specific items, right? We may touch base on a few things we can do in the future, but really focusing on the opportunity at hand, what this customer and partner are trying to achieve, and really build the value that way. And then just along with just really staying present out in the marketplace. When I came on board at Aryaka, we had conversations with partners as, who are you guys? We were not recognized 11 times in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. So it was a matter of
throwing down 11.
Yes.
Threw down 11, Kathy. Threw down 11 there.
Hey, we're working to get there, right? And but when I say that, it was a lot of education and just getting out there and educating partners on exactly what we do, what our capabilities are, and just building those relationships.
All right, Matt. Well, let's talk about one of my favorite segments that we do on the Solution Selling series is mistakes. So quickly, from your point of view, what's that biggest mistake you see out there that an advisor makes? Just go, oh no, why'd you do that?
That's a really good question. I think the biggest piece is maybe not engaging us early enough in the process, right?
I had a feeling you'd come back to that.
We get a lot of opportunities where, and I understand based on the nature of the business, nature of the partner channel, we get a lot of opportunities where we're pulled in. There's already 2 or 3 carriers competing in here. And it's kind of a scramble around, hey, I need pricing immediately. I need this and that. I need a total solution that I can present to this customer. We find it doing almost the customer a disservice with as strategic of a solution as we try to provide. It's a timing thing, right? And engage us often, engage us early. If it's not a good fit for us, we'll have that conversation. Everyone can move on. It's really about managing that time, engaging us early, and making the best use of that time, chasing after qualified opportunities.
Awesome. Kathy, how about you? What's that crazy moment you see out there like, come on, man?
Come on, man. Well, so Matt is absolutely correct. But I would add on, being afraid to ask those tough questions. I see that advisors really don't want to go down the rabbit hole for contact center or security because they get really really detailed really quickly. And another thing that I see, and the team asked me to kind of put, throw this in there, is really the speed to response, not just with the customer, but your speed to respond to the partner that you brought in, the supplier, like an 8x8. That really can, slow down the sales velocity on a deal if we're not in lockstep on what the expectations are. And look, a lot of times those partners, advisors, they have had that customer for a decade or more. And so we have some clarifying questions, and you really have to get on board and get that information back. So certainly don't want those delayed responses. We're all going 100 miles a minute. It's certainly easy to skip over, but I would say that that's another item just to remember.
Oh, you're tugging on my heartstrings there, because that's one of the things I always see, especially with a new advisor. that's new to the game. They just don't understand how unfortunately complicated everything can be. Yes, we all work every single day to make SASE and XCaaS very simple, but there's little tiny gotchas. And when an 8x8 or an Aryaka person reaches out and says, hey, I need this information, you got to get it back, or that can delay your install, or worse, foul it up. And that's the last thing you want to have happen. So I want to close up today with a little bit of a change up in talking about the trust factor. Kathy, I love the fact that you brought up, that this is really a relationship business. And I think both of you have kind of addressed, the vision of Aryaka and 8x8 today, but we've all had shakeups and changes. Lord knows I'm not throwing stones. There's been a lot of evolution at AppSmart over the last year, including yours truly. But Kathy, you've been at 8x8 for a good long while now. Yeah, I mean, 4 years is 45 years in the channel, let's be honest here. You've done a great job of just, carrying that torch and helping 8x8 through its channel evolution, but you've had some changes up top and below as well. If you could speak to that for just a moment from the 8x8 perspective, why 8x8 now? Why are you definitely that choice for XCaaS among all of your distinguished competition out there?
Yeah, no, I think that, you're absolutely right. 4 years is dog years here, in channel and in technology. And I've seen multiple evolutions, and I came on 4 years ago to really help build out a channel program, just like what Matt was saying that they're doing there. There was a program, but it really wasn't fit for purpose. And so we've seen in the last year, a little slightly more than a year, with Dave Sipes coming over. He was, came from somewhere, look it up on Google. A lot of people know where he came from. And we've got a real shift in, the seats. And we hear from our advisors and partners on a daily basis. They believe that 8x8 had the right technology. We were the best technology for their customers and prospects, but where we fell down was in, that customer lifecycle, our CSAT, all of those things. And so we needed an operator to come in and, instead of just throw bodies at problems, fundamentally fix and what we had so that we could deliver a world-class solution. We know we have the right technology. We know that we are a leader, not just in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. We wanted to be the first to provide full PSTN replacement in over 50 countries. We've passed that. We're at 54 and we have a path. We are chosen by Baird 4 times more likely to have our Microsoft solution, our Microsoft Direct Route solution, be chosen by partners. And so we had the technology. What we needed to really execute, and we needed to have a world-class strategy. And, it's an evolution. And, I'm learning every day. I've been given an opportunity, and we let our partners pick, how do they want to transact in an agency model versus a resale. So, we are unique in that world, in what we're offering in a very crowded, XCaaS space. Because look, everybody, it's obvious that everyone wants to provide a true XCaaS, experience communication solution. 8x8 is really uniquely positioned to be able to do it. So, I am on board, and every single time I see a new leadership, it's exciting about what they're going to bring in visibility so that we can get better and in turn do a better job of making our partners look like heroes when they recommend 8x8 and the solution. And honestly, Chris, you and I, you said it at the beginning, we've had a really great open dialogue where we've fallen down. And, I see we learn more when we actually don't win or we have challenges. And that's where we get closer together with our partners. And that's where we do better in the long term. So really long-winded message. Sorry. Hope that was okay.
Yeah, but it's a good one, Kathy. And it's something that we've definitely seen with 8x8, especially in my tenure here. I've seen the evolution and the changes that have happened with 8x8, and really where you guys are sitting in 2022 is a pretty darn good spot. And I'm glad to see you still there at the helm, and we appreciate everything you're doing over there. Now, Matt, I come to you as a guy that, Aryaka is one of the first SD-WAN providers to really get ingrained with the AppSmart marketplace with full click-to-buy functionality. Super excited to see how that grows. But with you, you're dealing with a channel that has been completely redesigned and redone by Craig in the last year. You yourself are about 2 minutes old in your position. Trust me, I feel that. I can sympathize. Where's Aryaka going in 2022 and beyond that you want our partners to take away?
You know what, Chris, it's a great question. I think, when I came over here, and when I came on board, I knew the company had great technology, right? They've been doing this as long as anyone out there. We own and operate our own layer 2, layer 3 core, which kind of differentiates us from a lot of the other SD-WAN providers out there. And the other piece of that is we are recognized globally from a customer experience perspective, right? I think we are one of the only SD-WAN providers that is recognized in North America, EMEA, and APAC from a customer experience perspective by Gartner. So technology was there, customer experience was there. Where we lacked was in the partner program and how we were going to market, how we were getting out in front of our partners, and how we were going to build this thing. And so to your point, Craig did come over here. He's kind of relaunched the entire channel program. That was exciting for me to come over and be part of, and we've seen a ton of change over the last 9 months as to what this partner program looks like. I think the big things for us right now is just trying to be relevant out there in the marketplace, trying to continue to get strategic with the TSBs out there. That space kind of seems to continue to consolidate. And so we're continuing to focus strategically, on those TSBs out there and continuing to build those relationships. We are also trying to explore alternate routes to market. You talked a lot about, your marketplace that we have today. We're getting more engaged with the VARs and the MSPs, and this is something I'm going to have a big focus on. We do also offer your traditional agent model or reseller model. And so we have a lot of different ways you can go to market with us. And then I think the other big thing for us is we coined it fear of missing out, right? We did a partner survey. What we got back from our partners and the feedback we got back was, we need to see you guys more present out there in the marketplace. So you're going to continue to see us everywhere we can possibly be. We're going to be out there continuing to educate our partners. We're not just a path out of China anymore. We have this global solution. We got SASE looped into this now. And so we do have a full global solution for you, to go out and start having those conversations with. We have a big push in the SASE space. And so it's just a really exciting time to be here, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to go out, be successful, and grow your business with Aryaka.
Well,
So
Matt, I got one
bonus.
Well, you know what? I'm actually going to do a bonus question for the two of you here, and maybe it's just so I can give Kathy the last word, because she gave me $10 and said, "Hey, I want the last word."
It's fair.
One of the reasons I was so excited to have you both on here is you're two of what I really consider the best of breeds in your particular field. XCaaS, SASE, SD-WAN. These are two products that go very well together and arguably need to go together, because you need to have a good quality SASE solution to support an awesome XCaaS solution. That being said, there's sometimes a lot of noise from some of your distinguished competition, sometimes in that network as a service area, Matt, where they're saying, you know what, you need it all from us. You need everything on one bill. You need all your services with one provider. It's just going to simplify things. And be better for you and a better experience. How would you two challenge that as to, why would you want to use an Aryaka as your best of breed for SASE SD-WAN versus someone who tries to do it all on one bill?
Go ahead.
Oh, or Kathy's like, no, I'll take that one, because she's dealt with this for a really long time as well.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in and let Matt give a second to think. But, here's what 8x8 really strives to do, is to meet customers how they want to buy technology and source technology. So, we haven't talked about it, but we have a partnership agreement with Aryaka. We can meet in the channel, boom, we can meet in the channel and provide, we can work together, and it's how customers want to consume the technology. So, look, there are providers, Matt and I both came from said provider that said they could do everything. And at the end of the day, our partners know that you really want to, you pick the horse in the race that's going to solve the problems for the customers. And look, there are some solutions out there that can do it, but let's be honest, across an enterprise, it's really hard to have one that can do every single thing and do it really, really well. But, I think it's about, Matt mentioned earlier, bring us in early so that we can identify if we're a good fit. And I think that, 8x8, we will choose not to bid on something that doesn't make sense for us, because We don't want to just shove a round peg in a square hole. But I think that you're going to see this, and you're going to continue to see it more. There are partnerships behind the scenes, like ours with Aryaka, that we can sell together. You know, we don't provide the same compensation, but we could sell it on our paper if it came down to that. You know, it came down to that, and we could provide compensation on the Aryaka piece if it's sold on 8x8 paper. So there's a lot of those partnerships out there to be able to deliver exactly what the customer needs to solve the problems, not just to get the highest points and the number of spiffs. So
not too shabby. And Matt, thanks for the $20 Venmo for having the last word. So sorry, Kathy. Yeah, he got one more Gartner and an extra $10. So Matt, what would you say to that? Because again, you guys do a lot of stuff on your own paper, but you don't do it all. Why would someone pick Aryaka as that best of breed provider?
You know, Chris, I think Kathy summed it up really well. You know, it's really getting out there and doing what you do well. You know, it was one thing that I did have to learn when I came over here, right? Is I did come from a very large global carrier who did a little bit of everything, right? And we went after every opportunity, you know, as hard as we could to win that opportunity. And that's just not the way it is over here. We do SD-WAN, if that's what you want to classify it for today's conversation, you know, and we do that piece very well. Right? We don't do voice. There's a lot of other things that we do not do. And so it's a matter of going out, really identifying the right opportunities for us, focusing on those opportunities and really selling to our strengths versus, and I like the way she put it, you know, is trying to put a round peg in a square hole.
Well, awesome stuff, Matt. Kathy, Matt, both of you, thanks so very much for being a part of the AppSmart Solution Selling Series. And thank you so much for the support that you give our AppSmart advisors. We do a lot of fun stuff with both of you, but it begins with great leadership at the top. So thank you both for being here. And for all of our AppSmart advisors, we'll see you next time on our next Solution Sales video.